Well, hello and welcome here to another Restore Live. Restore Live on Wednesday evening, going out live to the British Unionist People's Voice, also to Restore UK. That's on Facebook, and also Restore UK on YouTube. Now, as you'll note, that we haven't been here for a few weeks. That's due to my own work circumstances, but here we are back, and it's October, month 10 of the constitutional changing Northern Ireland protocol, and still no meaningful proactive protest made against the protocol. We could be forgiven for thinking that, does our political leaders care? Do they really care about Northern Ireland's position within the United Kingdom? Well, that's a question, and that's a question that you people can answer in your own minds. Tonight, we've got a special guest, a man from a group called Pictures on Parade. Roy McPeak. I met Roy just a few years ago whilst at a veterans rally in Ballymoney in County Antrim. And, for the first time, I seen his work and what quality pictures, because just a few days later, he had taken pictures of everyone that participated in the event. And I have to say, I was intrigued that what is it that drives a man to, who works and who has a job to do daily. And yet this man, he runs the country night and day in order to bring people the parades themselves, in terms of the video footage of parades, and also the pictures of people whilst on the parades. Now, Roy's work, it would encompass right from the marching bands fraternity and right through to, I guess, anything British Unionist culture, or also anything of a protest nature. And I have to say, he does a good job. And, I'm just going to, remind people of what it is that this man actually does, and the amount of work that he puts in to bring you you can sit in the comfort of your own home, like I was just a few weeks ago, with a glass of wine, watching a parade in Banbridge, and yet I didn't have to get up off my backside and go there. And I can remember hearing Roy, he says, well, look, I'll do this in between eating a Chinese. So one could only imagine, he had to be there, let's say, for about 7 o'clock thereabouts, rush home from work, get away down, get himself set up, and eating as he was going. So there you go. That is commitment. That is definitely commitment. So before we start with Roy, before we bring Roy in to scratch the surface and to find out what is it that drives a man who has a job of work to do during the day, what is it that drives a man to burn the candle at both ends in order to bring the people of Northern Ireland, the British Unionist people of Northern Ireland. And when I say British Unionist, that encompasses the Protestant, Unionist and Loyalist people of Northern Ireland. What is it that drives a man to as I say, rush around, eat his food on the hop, in order to bring you the parades as they happen, and also the protests and the various events from within the British Unionist culture here in Northern Ireland. So before we bring Roy in, what I would like to do is I would like to start off by asking each and every one on our screen, the social media platforms, because of our politics, we promote British Unionism of all forms. We stand against the protocol, and we don't mince our words. We call out people where they need to be called out, and for that reason, some people in social media land, well, they don't like to propagate what it is that we do. Whenever we do these live events, that they're not actually notified to people. Some people get notifications, some people actually don't. So what we require, what we would like, is for each and every one on our screen to share this event. Share this to your own Facebook. Share this into closed groups within Facebook. Share this. Tag people into the event. If you can, just write people's names within the live chat. That way they will get a notification and they'll come here to hear Roy and hear all about what it is that Roy does for and on behalf of British Unionism here in Northern Ireland. So what I would like to do is I would like to start off tonight by playing a little video clip. It's a little video clip that our good friend Jim Werner prepared. And, this is Roy McPeak, the man. And I would just like you to watch this. And then on the back of this, whenever this finishes, you'll have Roy on your screen along with myself. And then what we'll be doing is that we'll be getting into some of Roy's hot picks, and then we'll be commencing chatting with Roy. So over to this stream, and then when we come back, we'll have Roy on our screen.
Good evening and welcome to Banbridge, live with Pictures and Parade. The band's just making their way down Bridge Street now. Well, first of the band, which is just up there. Good evening, Samuel. Good evening, Tony. Good evening, Cassie. Roy, we say a big hello to my grandson Adam Mooney from Banbridge.
There you go. I mean, that's what Jim put that together earlier on, and that's typical of exactly what it is that Roy does. I mean, Roy, as he said, he travels the length and breadth of the country, bringing people virtual band parades, and he works with with Valerie at the Roy. I just let you tell the people, what is it they call the Valerie's event? Pictures.
The virtual band parade.
Virtual band parade. That's at the Ulster Bands Forum, isn't that right? Yeah.
It is. That all came about at the start of lockdown last year. I saw Valerie one Saturday morning trying to go live on Facebook, and she's sitting there with a camera or with her phone, and she was trying to get somebody else to join into it, and Facebook had changed the settings for mobile. You couldn't do it anymore. So I got in contact with her, and that whole day we just sort of put together this show that we were going to call the Virtual Band. Well, Valerie called the Virtual Band Parade, and that Saturday night off we went, and we did 121 shows of that.
Wow.
And then we just started back last Friday night again, now that the winter nights have come in. Can I just say one thing before we go any further, John?
Yeah,
I just noticed on the spiel you've got, it says that I'm one of Northern Ireland's most committed collators. I'm by far not the most committed ones. You've got likes of Relentless 03. He'll go to far more parades than I do, and indoors as well, him and his wife Michelle. You have On the March videos, Neil and Elaine, they're running the country as well. You've got Lisa, LUSB Care, Lisa and her fella Chris. Now they have no car, so they either bus it or trains or whatever, and they run the country as well. So there's a whole host of people out there. I'm just a very small part of it.
Yeah, and a very good part. And I mean, as I say, I mean, just looking at the setup there at the Ulster Bands Forum, I mean, I've watched that, Roy, on numerous occasions, and I have to say there must be a lot of time and effort that actually goes into putting that together. I mean, I know that whenever you invite a guest, I mean, they maybe have their picks, but I mean, are you the man behind the computer that puts all of this together and collates this and makes this all possible? Let's just say
I'm part of the cog. So as the months went on and the weeks went on, we sort of fell into a format. And as you've spoke to Valerie, and you know Valerie is huge on her stats. And so she started breaking down how many different sort of types of bands there was, not just in Northern Ireland, but in Scotland, and even bringing the English ones as well. And so we settled on a format of so many Blood and Thunder, so many Melody, so many Pipes, so many accordion bands on there. So that started off as the list. Then the spreadsheets in the background tell us how many times we've played which band and what type of band and everything else. So myself, Lisa, and Valerie, during the week, the list would go up. This is the type of bands we want. We would sort of maybe sometimes would have a theme. Maybe it's military tunes, maybe it's military bands, and then just spend the day slotting them in. Like the last couple of weeks, last week, and then also the one for Friday night was bands who've had their band parades this year. So we started in June. We've done June, and we're doing part of July. We're doing July this year or this week. So it was just the list. Lisa she's very comprehensive for a list of band parades that have actually taken place and what bands went to and everything else. So collating it from that. But yeah, there is a lot of work goes in the background. But it is so enjoyable. The family atmosphere that has been sort of evolved from that, and the friendships that have evolved from that are unbelievable. There's people that come in week on week in, week out. And as I went to veteran band parades, I've got speaking to them. So you meet them for the first time, or somebody walks up to you and goes, "You're Roy from the virtual band parade," and go, "Yeah," and I just go like, "Who are you?" Because we don't see faces.
Yeah, definitely, Roy. And, I mean, I'm just going to remind you of sort of Portadown on the 13th morning. I'm going to try to keep it close to lunchtime because, as you said, I had a few sherbets in me.
You did.
I was celebrating the cultural event. But yeah, myself and Jack Ross from Turning Point and Jim Werner, our good friend Jim Werner here, who works in the background, we were walking through Portadown and we're headed to our next destination. And I just hear a man from behind me saying, "Mr. Restore UK." I turn around and I see yourself with the camera. I mean, you were there, you were armed, you were ready to, I'm assuming, take the picture or take the video of the band parade. Yeah.
Yeah. The video side of things came about more. It was never, my intention was always the still photographs. It was always taking photographs. And it was actually somebody said to me one day, "Are you going to the band parade?" And I goes, "Yeah." It says, "Is there any way you can stream it live? Because I'm working and but like to see the parade." And I went, "Yeah." So that's where that came in. That's where the sort of the live stream came into it and the showing the video of it, because there's no way that my video work could ever compete with, or I wouldn't even want to compete with, Relentless 03 and Lisa. But Richard is doing 4K footage at the minute, so it's taken hours for him to upload. Maybe a half-hour video. It's maybe taken a day, 2 days. So his video quality and the sound quality in his videos is absolutely amazing. So I take pictures. Yes, there's some pictures I'm happy with. There's a lot of pictures I'm just not happy with at all. And getting to grips with a new camera is hard.
Yeah. Roy, again, what was it? I mean, did you have a keen interest in photography? I mean, you tell me that pictures was your main aim whenever you started.
No, it goes back. I started off in bands when I was 4 years of age in Ballakeel LOL 472 flip band. I was in that for 17 years with my dad. My dad was a member of it for 65 years before he retired out of it, and then the band's actually dispersed now. I lived in England then for 14 years, and I came back and I joined Pride of the Main. But it was during that time that I came to the realization, and I knew there was something wrong, and I couldn't put my finger on what it was and everything else, to how the way I was feeling. And I then started going to the doctor and everything else, and I came to the realization that I was suffering greatly from depression. And so I gave up the band. I didn't go near a band parade for a year and a half. Where I lived in Ballymena, Pride of the Main's parade came right past the front of my house. I actually hid under a quilt on the sofa, and I didn't want to do with it. And at the same stage, then I was trying to give up smoking, so I started doing vaping. And to give me trying to give my mind something to focus on, I started doing vape reviews. So I'd bought myself a decent camera and everything else. And I was thinking, well, that camera's, I'd actually spent the money and bought a DSLR camera, and it wasn't doing the video side of things well enough for me video review. So it just sat in the corner. I thought, you know what? I want to put this to good use. And I'd taken, during my time, I'd taken pictures on my mobile phone and everything else, and they were never that good. So I thought, go out and try taking pictures with this. So for the next year, that was probably in the May. For that May, June, July, August, I just took the pictures and put them up on my own Facebook. And I was down in, it was 2018, down at Clockers Parade in Warringstown. And somebody said to me, says, "Oh, where are you putting the pictures up?" And I didn't feel comfortable giving my Facebook out all the time and everything else. And I says, "Oh, I'll be uploading them up onto a new page." And he goes, "What's it called?" And I just, Pictures on Parade. And so that stuck.
So that's where the name come from. And just, I mean, this is just a question for you, but I know that people, whenever they take pictures, I mean, I know of one picture, let's just say, and it was I'm going to say an infamous picture of the guys from Larne. Yeah, I remember the name, Clyde Valley Flute Band, whenever they were up in Londonderry there just a few years ago, and they were wearing the little motif with the "In Support of Soldier F."
Yep.
And there was a lady, one Mrs. Blair from Ballymoney in County Antrim. She took a picture of the PSNI as they were flanking that band as they were walking through Londonderry, and that was used everywhere. I mean, the media picked it up everywhere. And, I mean, that's what happens. I mean, these things become stock photos, Roy. Have you ever sort of thought about doing that type of thing, or do you do that type of thing?
No, I've been approached a couple of times by media to use pictures, and actually there was one of my pictures before I started putting watermarks across the picture. There was one of my pictures was used in the media, and I wasn't happy about it. So that's what then led me to actually start putting watermarks across the pictures. I don't care, anybody within the band fraternity or anybody that's got an interest in the bands and everything else can use my pictures as much as they want. I don't have any hold over it. In fact, if I take pictures of, say, a family at a band parade, I'll always say to them, look, if you want the picture without the watermarks, just send me a message to the page and I'll send you it. There's no harm with it at all. Or if someone says to me, do you sell prints? No, I don't sell prints. It's probably going to be cheaper for you if I send you the file and you go to something like Snapfish or one of these online print things and actually get it printed yourself. So.
Right. Roy, and we're going to move now to a video clip that you've given me, and again to the live chat. The reason why that we're playing this is that I had asked Roy, and I know that I put him sort of under pressure to do this because I only mentioned sort of 15 minutes before the show, but I'd said to Roy that if there was anything that stands out that he is taking in terms of video footage, I mean, would he grab it and make it available for us to see? So we're going to play a picture. The one, Roy, this is the bigger of the two. It's not the Rathcoon one. So if you would just like to introduce who's on the...
So this is Lisburn Young Defenders, and this was the first 12th lockdown. So it was the lockdown 12th. And I had just got a new drone. And I thought, I'm going to try a wee bit of drone footage with Lisburn Young Defenders. And then it leads into then me sort of walking in the front of the band, sort of videoing them as they walk down into the Orange Hall in Lisburn city centre. Do forgive me if there's a bit of wobbles in it because I was actually taking pictures at the same time. So I had the video or camera in one hand and the other hand. But we cut it there again. Our drum.
Roy, I mean, I couldn't resist letting that go for two songs. I have to say, what a fantastic band. And, I just see this one comment here from Robert Crawford and many others. Very tidy band too, and that is the reality. I mean, well turned out. And I mean, musicians would be it would be an understatement. Roy, what can you tell us about that band? What do you know of that band?
Well, Lisburn Young Defenders has been one of the, through the lockdown, is a band I've come very close with. I've always liked them as a melody band. They're 50 years on the road, I think. I think that's what it is. But Ian McAllister, who also is in Light of Foot with myself, which is the mental health, March for Mental Health. They normally have a melody day every single year. And with the first lockdown, they weren't going to have it. So through the virtual band parade and through Valerie and everything else, Ian asked me, would I do an online version of the melody day for them? And of course, I agreed. There was definitely no issues with doing that whatsoever. Ian had set me up with all the spiel and all the different bands. There's, I think, 20 different bands I played that day. So it was just having to read the spiel off and then play the video. It was very successful. But then through that, then each time that they were out on parade, Ian invited me down then to photograph them and to video them, which I thoroughly enjoyed. When I went down again this year on the 12th with them as well, and also on Black Day. And there's been a really good friendship bond has grown there.
Yeah, and indeed. Right, and again, we're not going to waste any time. What we're going to do is that we're going to move to your next pick. I mean, this, after all, it's about pictures on parade. I mean, this is exactly what you do. You do this thing regularly. And by the way, I mean, if you can just tell the people on the live chat, right? I mean, when is your next? I mean, where are you going to next? When will you be out next?
Good question. I think there's a parade, not this Saturday, the following Saturday up in East Belfast. Pride of the Raven is part of the parade, but also there is a memorial parade that day during the daytime. I'm hoping that my partner Michelle, depending what, because she works full time as well, and also with the kids and everything else, I'm hoping she's off, because if she's off, then I can go up to the afternoon and then go across to the East Belfast one, because Pride of the Raven, another melody band that is absolutely fantastic. And that's also got one of your previous guests in it as well, which is Glenn, who does the Made to Parade podcast as well.
Yeah.
So, but for me, the sort of off season is the winter months and everything else is a lot quieter. I don't go to indoors.
Yeah.
Pictures on parade. I like going out to see. I like the parades out on the streets as opposed to the indoors. So the indoors not. Plus, when you've got three kids, one's 15, 13, and 9-year-old. Indoors aren't sort of a good setting for them. So
yeah, I understand. So here we go. What we're going to do now is we're going to play a clip that Roy has prepared from, and I mean, this is Roy's own pick. Whenever I had asked him if there was anything that stood out to him, so without asking him, we'll ask him afterwards why that it is that he picked this here. But it's Rathcoole Protestant Boys, and I see that there's a lot of video footage taken right across the board from the various people that collates the pictures on parade and the video footage of the marching band fraternity. But I see that there's a lot of footage taken of this band. Now, I was introduced to this band through someone's video. Right, it may even have been your video. But there's a young man in this band, and he plays the drum. And he's, what I say, he probably would be 7 or 8 years of age. And what a talented young musician that he is. He goes by the name of Wally. And let's see, can anyone spot Wally if Wally's in this one? But we'll play this and we'll come back to Roy. There you go. I don't know why you've noticed or not, but that young man playing the drum, the side drum, and I think it was July the 12th, 2 years ago, the same days that you would have taken that those pictures in Lisburn. I seen a video clip of the young man, and they put him out front, and I have to say the young lad was amazing at playing the drum. So he was.
Actually, that the 2 years ago, at the 12th, I did Lisburn and then went straight up to Rathcoole, and I'd taken there was another some drone footage of Rathcoole as well, from the first lockdown, and but he's absolutely phenomenal, and that their parade there in June, he did lead tip for Killaloe,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
again, absolutely phenomenal. There's across the whole thing, but the thing about it is that's getting repeated across the whole of the province. There's young drummers in quite a few bands across the province, and they are just phenomenal. And also, when you think of the young lads, this year, and especially over the last year and a half, 2 years, there's more and more female drummers coming to the forefront. And I've just noticed Joy Collins came in, and her daughter Jasmine drums for a couple of bands, but the Pride of Balnaran probably the one that she drums for the most. And she also plays the lambeg, and she also does Highland dancing. So it's just such talent across the province.
Excuse me. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take a bit of an opportunity here to talk to the live chat and to again ask the live chat. I mean, if you would like to share this stream, we'll be going round to the top of the hour, so we've about another 20 minutes or so left. And we're not going to draw Roy into our politics. I mean, he's a sort of got a clean face, and we want to keep him that way. And we'll be moving on to shout about our politicians anytime after 9. So again, if you want to tag people into the live chat, or also if you want to share the screen, I mean, we've a wee bit to say. We've been away for a few weeks, and here we are. We're back and we're ready to go, let's just say. So, right, what I want to do now is, again, I'm going to go back to another little clip here. I'm going to go back to a clip which Jim Werner again had prepared, and he wanted to actually show off you with the drone. Little did I know that you were going to produce two video clips with you with the drone. Now, again, I want to go back just slightly, Roy, there, because I'll tell you why. On the Lisburn parade, I noticed something, and let me just say, I mean, I'm no stranger to drones.
You got a phantom.
Yeah, I know, and there's another one there. So I'm no stranger to drones, let's just say. And yeah, and we've one similar to that also. But here's what I'm going to say. I mean, I noticed that up you went with the drone at Lisburn, you flew around, you came back, you sort of landed, and then I see you out taking pictures, but yet it didn't look as if there was any broken footage. Is that something maybe you could teach me how to do? How did you do that?
It's pure editing. Plus, you can actually with these DJIs, you can actually leave the drone sitting up.
Yeah.
And it's stabilized with GPS, because with the 12th day at Lisburn, I had set the drone up and off to the side of the parade, and you actually can see on the live stream, you can actually see the Orangemen walking past and everybody looking up to see, and the drone sitting up in the thing. But actually, I'd asked Lisburn District if it was all right to do that. Again, thanks to Ian McAllister, he got that all arranged for me. They allowed me to have the drone, because it starts off as the parade comes towards me. I have the drone on the ground, and then raise the drone up and take it off to the side. And then I'm there taking pictures and everything else. But with I'm still getting used to the drone. It's not something I've had a couple of bad experiences with it.
Yeah.
One where I went up to Knock Monument with Rathcoole, and it just went crazy and crashed into the side of the hill. And the second time down in Kilkeel, whenever I'd actually I had started off with a DJI Mavic Mini, and then I sort of upgraded it to be a bit more stable to get the Air 2, because it's a bit heavier. And second time having it out, down at Kilkeel, took it up, and I've actually got the footage where it goes up and it just loses all power and just crashes, just comes straight down. It was in the air for 42 seconds before it crashed. I see Joyce putting her that up because she knew it was down for more young defenders, which is another one of the sort of the bands that have come close to over the last couple of years. But I have to be thankful. Like, it was through that. That's why I've got the flag. I got a few flags, unlike Richard, who's got 300 and odd flags. He has. I don't profess to collect them, but the drone I just think in the drone footage, just going that one step further again, and also getting some of the pictures from up there as well, because it's with the quality of pictures from the drones, unbelievable as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can confirm, as I say, we've had some crashes ourselves. Let's just say, I mean that one there, the Phantom 2. I mean, that was one of the older ones, and we had the pre-Phantom to that also. And I have to say, we used them for business originally, Roy, for taking aerial footage of buildings and things like that. And they were good enough jobs, but they're not like the modern ones where, I mean, those boys don't stay away, from buildings and so on. They crash if you make the wrong move. They're straight in. But yes, I mean, we like some of the newer stuff. So yes, you did do a wee bit of editing. Okay, so you weren't just that good with it.
No, not that good.
That
You
makes
hear
it
the beeping. You hear the beeping on the video as well, where that's just because to get as you know, the drones don't record sound. So I was recording the sound on my phone while I was controlling it, and then the drone footage, and then having to sync the two of them together. But you hear the beeping because that's the sensors on that, which is then either getting too close to something either in front or behind or on the sides of it. So
Very good. Well, look, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go to, just remove that. I'm going to go to another little clip that Jim Werner had prepared, and we'll play this and we'll come back and we'll talk some more. So we'll see you all after this clip. So remove. There we go. I mean, that was another clip of you obviously taking some video footage there of a bonfire. Yeah.
it was. That was first lockdown bonfire up at Ballykill, which is just up the road from me here in Ballymena. I thought they'd done an absolutely fantastic job with the building of the bonfire and everything else. And there's Murph's drone footage down in Portadown. He was doing the Cockcrohan bonfire. I think that's how you say it. And I just thought, right, we'll just try and just put the drone up. Beautiful day, as you've seen, some nice blue skies and everything else, and got it up. And the guys at the Ballykill bonfire seemed to really enjoy it, and it got a lot of views as well. So
yeah, absolutely. So Roy, I mean, now that you're into sort of video and things, I mean, obviously you're into the drone and whatnot. I mean, have you any ambitions in terms of doing anything better or bigger, or have you any, have you anything lined up for the future? Let's just say.
Well, lined up for the future is I'm getting more involved with Glenn Miller and Made to Parade podcasts, because we're moving those just from the simple podcast, the talking podcast, to actually video podcasts. We recorded one a couple of weeks ago with Pride of the Main, with Jason Kernick from Pride of the Main. We've got Rascal Protestant Boys lined up for it as well. We're hopefully getting more young defenders. So, and I'm helping Glenn then with the video one of that. So that's probably as far as my videoing's going. I'll still take drone footage of bands and everything else going to the parading season next year. But again, my main focus will always be just the photos, and hopefully trying to get myself better at the photos and making them sharper and because there's ones out there whose pictures to me are amazing and they pop out. One of them is actually just made a comeback, and he was actually my inspiration for taking photos, which is a guy called Les Pickering, who does loyalism through the lens. His pictures and his style of pictures is where the inspiration for the style of pictures that I take, and that's where it comes from. And I will always be the first to say, people say, "Are you copying Les?" And I goes, "No, I use Les as my inspiration for it." But then with the likes of Loyalist Photography, Loyal Band, Parades, and I think that's what they're called. They're twins, they're brothers, and they're always out in parade. So it's there's always inspiration coming from everywhere for it. And if I can make pictures better, or if it's something that I can do, then I'll try it.
Yeah, that's a very worthy project that you're becoming involved in with Glenn Miller. Glenn Miller's a very talented musician to the people on the live chat. I mean, as I said, Glenn plays the tune, he creates the melody, and he does everything. He's a one-man band, but there's 3 or 4 musical instruments playing at the exact same time. He's a good man. So yes, he's a talented musician.
He's phenomenal. I with their parade, which was for Light of Foot this year, went up, and Michelle, my partner, and my stepdaughter carried the banner at the front of the band, so left me free to sort of walk around and stream the whole thing live. And quite a lot of it I was at the back, and so I could actually hear Glenn playing sort of live, because I've seen Glenn do different things on video and everything else, but actually hearing them play live, and Alvin, the bandmaster, is just, you could actually hear the strength of their flutes coming through at the back. It was fantastic to hear.
Yeah, very good. Roy, just tell us about Light of Foot. Just explain what Light of Foot is.
So Light of Foot is a mental health charity. It is run by members and ex-members of marching bands. And it's designed to be a safe place for people to talk anonymously, to either offload or taking the first steps of seeking help with their mental health. Everybody who is a member of it has suffered with either their own demons in one form or another. So they have an understanding of where people are coming from. And they're not professionals, don't deem to be professionals either. And then if talking isn't helping, it will sort of help point them in the right directions to somewhere where people can get the help that they actually do, they do need. And at the minute, there's a few bass drums that have been donated to Light of Foot. They're wrapped in the Light of Foot skins with the skins on it and everything else. There's plans to have some more of that. We've got banners that can either go at the front of the parades or up at band halls. We've got leaflets and also little business cards like that, which basically has a Light of Foot at the front, providing listening ear, no judgment, your life matters. And then on the back of it, it's got useful contact numbers, like for Lifeline, Samaritans, PIPs, childcare, Printal Line. So it's absolutely loads there. The last year has hampered getting the message out there as much. To be quite honest, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but the messengers, there wasn't as many messages coming through as there had been. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe it's just because people aren't aware of it and the message is not going out there. But so I've started to, when I go to band parades now and taking pictures and things like that, I'll put the high vis on, which has got Light of Foot on it, trying to help promote it, as opposed to promoting pictures on parade, because my whole ethos behind pictures on parade is to promote the positive side of the marching band scene, and also the positive side of bonfires, and anywhere that I can promote the positive side. One of the things you'll probably never see in any of my pictures that I put up is people standing at a band parade with a drink in their hand. I don't, if somebody sort of says we take a picture of me, they're standing there with a can of beer in their hand, I'll still take the picture, but I won't publish it. It's just my own personal choice that I don't put up pictures of people that are of alcohol, because I personally don't associate a band parade with alcohol. A lot of people do, and that's their choice. I'll never shout anybody down for it. But to me, I go and enjoy the cultural side of things, the music, the uniforms, and how well presented people are.
Yeah, and that's a very good, explanation of what Light of Foot was. And I remember actually talking to Glenn one of the first times, and it wasn't on this channel. It was on a channel with myself and a couple of English people, Jack Ross from Turning Point UK, and another guy called Ricky Doolan, and it was on a platform called Reclaim. And we talked to Glenn, and we talked about Glenn's book. Glenn, he produced the book, Made to Parade. And when talking to Glenn and asking Glenn why was it that he got involved in the marching, there you go, Made to Parade Cup. So why was it that Glenn got involved in the Made to Parade? And why did he write the book Made to Parade? Is that he says that he wanted to tell the positive side to the marching band fraternity. And Roy, I think that's what you just explained, because there is a huge positivity in young lads. I mean, Lixa Wally there, that young drummer there, playing that drum and learning that musical instrument, and and being a great solo expert in terms of his drumming. I mean, that teaches him skills. It also keeps him off the streets, and it keeps him away from the things that can lead to problems within society. So the marching bands, they do a great job of work here in Northern Ireland, and there's many people that are lining up to actually demonise these people whenever. There's a lot of positive aspects to the marching bands fraternity. On our parade, or on our feed with Valerie and Glenn, just at the start of the year. I mean, what was it we called it? We called it accentuating the positive. And again, that's the type of message that needs to come across with reference to the entire marching band fraternity, no matter why that's here in Northern Ireland, England, Scotland, Wales, or further afield, because believe me, it is further afield.
Well,
Roy,
it definitely is further afield, because it's like when I'm watching, whenever I sort of in between bands, when I'm watching the live feed, and even with the virtual band parade, seeing where people are watching from. There's people watching from Australia, from America, from Canada. There's a big Scottish contingent, and to me that brings me happiness, knowing that there's people there enjoying it, and the sort of people that's there, like down at Banbridge, on the sort of one of the clips you showed where I was speaking. Excuse me. Somebody walked into the tripod and knocked over the phone. Now, I didn't have it in the case that it's in now, and it smashed the back of the phone, it smashed the phone up and everything else. I get inundated with messages of people going, Roy, can we donate to get you a new phone, this, that, and there? And no, it's I do it not for reward or to get new stuff in and out of it. Anything I purchase, whether it's for the vaping side of the reviews that I do, or for photographing the bands, or videoing the bands, whatever, it's that's my choice. I'm not out to get people to donate to me to be able to do that. It's my hobby, and it gets me out of the house. It's keeping the mental demons at bay as well, which is the main thing about it. I suppose, because I didn't go to the doctor and didn't take any tablets. I wanted to try and beat this naturally. And with the help of Michelle, my partner, she's been an absolute rock. And there has been times whenever I have sort of maybe felt myself slipping back down again. One of those most recent ones was a couple of weeks ago, when I was up actually videoing the Made to Parade podcast with Glenn. And Glenn, to his credit, he stood for an hour afterwards and listened to me. Standing outside after we cleared everything up and everything else, and he listened to me, and that actually lifted me so much. I'd felt myself going down into the deep hole again, and Glenn just basically, because he listened and some words of advice, just sort of grabbed me and pulled me back up again.
Well, that's what it's all about, right? Having friends, and having good friends that you can talk to whenever you need to. I know you can still hear. Sorry, I thought you were going on there for a wee bit. That's where I sort of stopped.
It's just a quick tickle. 2 seconds. I grab.
Okay.
I can of Vimto. We are
That,
not
that,
sponsored by Vimto, by the way.
Good, good stuff. Other cans are available. We'll have to add that. But anyway, people, look, Roy, I want to thank you for coming along. The reason why I contacted you a few weeks ago was 2 Friday nights ago. I'm sitting in front of a computer screen, sitting with a little glass of wine with my feet up in the heat and the comfort of my own home. And you're out in Finicky, Dunmurray direction there. You're up there and you're bring live streaming what you're videoing in the house. And I have to say, it was a very, very enjoyable experience to watch the band parade. So I would recommend to anyone that hasn't actually watched what it is that Roy does or what it is that others do. And Roy can actually recap on the names of the different places that you can find these virtual band parades. But you know what it is you do. You're doing a fantastic job, and I have to say it's given me hours and hours of entertainment, which I otherwise wouldn't have seen. And the reason for that is that I have a very, very busy life, and sometimes you come home from work and you want to put the feet up and you want to have a glass of wine and get up and go again the next morning, right? So thanks very much for agreeing to come on, and I hope that we can have you again in the future. Maybe what we'll do is that we'll go into some other areas, because I know that we've only scratched the surface with reference to the man, which is Roy McPeak. Roy, if you would just like to talk to the live chat in closing, what I will then do is I'll close and I'll come back on the second half or after the hour with some politics, whereby that we can let you go and we'll not get you involved in the things that we do. So over to you, Roy.
Not a problem. Well, thank you very much for having me on. I've actually thoroughly enjoyed it. I will say I was nervous, to say the least, because I'm normally on the other side of the camera, or just a little square box in the Mum of Valerie. I'm just normally down the corner down there. But I just want to thank everybody that's come in to chat, that has made me feel welcome in the words that they've said, from Joy and Joshua and Jim and Kenny Dummigan of Dummigan's Accordion Band in Larne. I think I got it right. But it's seeing the words of thanks and everything else that's there. That's what I do it for. If I take 1,000 pictures and one person says thank you, I know I've done what I've set out to do. So, as again, thanks very much for having me on, Mr. Restore UK.
I'll remember those words until the day I die, I guess, And I have to say, over that weekend, and you just touched on it, mentioned on it, whenever you do things like this, I mean, you're around the country and you're doing different things, and you don't know the people, but the people come up to you and say, I know you. I mean, whenever we were in Kilkeel, just over the 12th holidays there, I mean, there were people shouting out of bands and stuff, John, and you don't know them, but that's just the way that it goes. Roy, what I want to do.
You still haven't sent me that picture yet.
Oh, I will. I'll find that picture and I'll send you it. So, well, it was a picture that you took, and I have to say, it was a lovely picture. And
Well,
again,
it's not a picture that I took. It's a picture of me and you, took by one of the girls that was with you. She took the picture.
Oh, right, okay. And just to clarify, one of the girls that was with me, that was we were on. Are you talking about in Portadown there? Yeah,
in Portadown,
or
yeah.
was that? Right, yeah. Well, one of the girls was with us. That was we went on a bus run. We were with Jack Ross over the holidays, and people from Ballymoney kindly they invited us on their bus run, and we went to Portadown to sample the culture on the 13th. I have to say, and then we ended up in a club in Belfast where there was more bands playing, and I have to say we thoroughly enjoyed the day. Yes, I'll find that picture, Roy. In fact, Jim Verner's going to get on to it as we speak. And just before that we close, and I want to play us out with another band, just in playing out. But I do want to appeal to the people that would be on our chat that otherwise wouldn't be here. I mean, if you give us a like, if you give us a share, that way we'll get to invite you again in the future. And I just want to really promote something that what it is that we're doing here at Restore. And again, this is on the back of you talking about what you're going to be doing with Glenn Miller, with reference to the Made to Parade podcast, right? But here at Restore, and this is with our own money, and with some donations and with selling, say, badges and T-shirts and so on, what we've done is that we've invested in some camera equipment, let's just say, and with some more coming. But our aim is, I'm just going to pop this picture up here and I'm going to speak over it. There you see me with a large camera there, and you'll see Roy there also promoting his made to parade, or sorry, his pictures on parade. Yeah, that's the wrong one. So again, what we want to be doing here at Restore UK, and we're now looking for another camera of a similar nature. And again, we've purchased 3 professional stands. And what we want to be doing at Restore, and we've got some capable people who works in the background, is that we want to be making documentaries. We want to be showing the positive side to our culture, to British Unionist culture here in Northern Ireland. And I say British Unionist culture, I mean Protestant Unionist and Loyalist culture. I don't like those labels which divides people. I like one label which calls us British Unionist culture. So what we want to do is we want to be promoting the positivity. We also want to be highlighting the things that should be highlighted. Let's say, for example, just a few years ago, whenever Clyde Valley, whenever that band were walking through Londonderry, and whenever they were being treated in a different way than anyone else. And what were they doing? Well, they weren't breaking the law. They were supporting the actual law enforcement. And I know that there's other people that have different views on Clyde Valley, but those are the type of things that we want to be highlighting. And if that ever happens again, well, we want to be there where we can go and we can tell the stories that the mainstream media are actually not telling. And in that way, people from within British Unionist culture here in Northern Ireland, well, they get to understand that they have a voice, and they have a voice which is capable of highlighting the good things, the bad things, the warts and all, because sometimes that's actually what's needed to be done. So again, popping up the picture, this is our capabilities now, and we're looking for another camera of a similar nature, and we've just bought, as I say, it's not 2 tripods, but 3 good industrial tripods, with a boom and everything else to be able to do this here in a professional way. Look, we're only amateurs, but just like yourself, Roy, we're keen to learn. We really are, and we've got some good people in the background which has a lot of experience in terms of photography, videography, and cutting videos. So you can only watch us here at Restore UK getting better over the coming days, weeks and months, and we're totally committed to doing so. So Roy, look, thank you once again for coming along. And if you just want to say your goodbyes to the live chat, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play us out with a little clip that I took whilst in Ballymoney in County Antrim a few years ago. So over to you to say your goodbyes, Roy, and thanks very much. I mean that from the bottom of my heart for you coming on.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me. And again, thank you to every single person in chat who's listened, and to all the ones who are going to listen to it, because I've seen a lot of people being tagged for them to listen to watch it whenever they come back in again. I hope you've enjoyed it. And as John says, it doesn't take 2 seconds to give the Restore UK page a wee like, a wee follow, and a wee share out there. And also, if you're on YouTube, look them up on Restore UK and give them a wee subscribe as well. So they've done a fantastic job getting the message out.
Thanks very much, Roy. And as I say, look, you had nothing to be nervous about. I mean, I thought it was a very, very good stream. And this is why that I'm going to cut this stream right now. And I'm going to say to our live chat that what I'm doing is that I'm coming back. I'll be back again within, say, 5 minutes, maybe less than 5 minutes. And we'll be here to talk about politics. So thanks again. And we're playing this out with a band. And I don't even know the name of the band, but I know that they're a good band. And they're up from around the North Coast area. So over to this band, and we'll see you all within 5 minutes. Roy, thanks again for coming. See you soon.
Thank you.